conference. We're bringing together, we've got about 300 people registered coming from a wide range of different backgrounds and perspectives, and I hope over the next 2 days this will give you an opportunity to meet people that you might never have otherwise met. So our slogan for this event is, we're here to collaborate on a positive future of work, no bystanders. That is, we're not just here as observers, we're here as participants, we're here to work, to be able to envision what a positive future of work can be, and how to use our capabilities, our perspective, to So at Singularity University, we have a saying, AI is easy, but AV is hard. We've just proven that mankind has overcome its technology once again. So we've proven that we actually can be the ones in charge. That will be a recurring theme throughout the event. So why did we call this Fulcrum? Well, our conference producer, Heidi Kleinmaus, who you'll meet in a little bit, she knows that when I speak on stage about the future of work, I continually talk about where we can put the lever, where we can figure out the ways that we can push our efforts, focus the things that we're doing on the ways that we can have the greatest possible impact. And so, because I just said the Fulcrum go over and over again, it turns out that this is actually a phrase that was attributed to Archimedes. Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I can move the world. Now this could be fake news, because there's no Twitter feed to show us that Archimedes actually said this, but we're just going to go with it, and because so many other things have been attributed to him anyway. So, and speaking about the world, on your tables, it's not that we're only talking about global issues. We're going to talk about a lot of local issues as well, but the reason you've got the stress squeezy balls in front of you is to continue to remind us that there are these same issues that are occurring all around the world. And as a matter of fact, we've got people that have come here through great distances to talk about their perspectives in their realms. We've got a number of people who come from Europe. We actually have one gentleman came from Brazil, and David Lee, I don't know if you're in the audience, but he actually joined us from the Shenzhen Open Innovation Lab, and you'll be hearing from him in the Entrepreneur Rising session. So we designed this to be a story. And like all good storytelling, we want to make sure that there's an arc and that we come to a set of conclusions at the end of the event. So this morning, our focus is on what's happening. How can we all have a shared understanding? As I often like to say, we don't get to choose our own facts. So let's try to get a lot of the issues and facts about what's going on in the world of work today, and the ways that we can start to think about where we can focus our efforts. This afternoon, we're going to be talking about what's coming. That is, what is that tech-fueled future that many of us can start to envision for the different scenarios for what our possible futures might be, and then how can we prepare for those? How do we not just see that as disruption, but how do we see how we can leverage those changes to be able to create a positive future for humans? Tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, it's going to be what's working. How do we know what programs are working around the world and around the country? And as I often like to say, just about every problem that I have heard someone describe related to the future of work, someone has a solution to, but it's not well known and it's not scaled. So that's what our opportunity is to be able to understand what some of those programs are. And then finally, we're going to wrap up Thursday afternoon with what's next. What can we do together? What might we accomplish if we could build uncommon partnerships, if we can try to leverage what each other has learned, if we can start to be able to aggregate our collective voices to be able to create that positive future. This evening, I want to make sure you don't miss, Detroit Public Television is our live streamer this morning, our partner. And PBS has a TV show called Road Trip Nation. It just so happens that a Detroiter by the name of Bernita Bradley is one of the road trippers. And we've got a an hour-long special that's going to be shown right next door here. So please don't miss that. The doors open at 6:30 and it starts at 7 o'clock. So I get asked a couple of questions when we're talking about this conference. The first one is, why Detroit? Well, as Heidi and I often say, we could have done this on a coast. We could have decided to do this in Silicon Valley, where the same people in technology keep talking about the same issues related to the future of work over and over again. But we wanted to come to a place where people are dealing with so many of the fundamental issues related to the present and future of work. And it turns out that Detroit has been an amazing ecosystem to be able to collaborate with. Heidi and I have had a chance to meet so many amazing people that are focusing on so many efforts here to be able to try to move the needle and try to build a really inclusive present and future. And as a matter of fact, John Gallagher with the Detroit Free Press, who's going to be chairing a session tomorrow, he just wrote this article that Detroit is actually the place to be for the future of work. And on 60 Minutes, actually, there was a profile of some of the work that JP Morgan Chase has done here. So we've got several themes that we're going to keep coming back to again and again. And what we want to do is to create that open platform, a way in which so many voices can be heard. We've got a couple different ways to do that. So first is we're bridging across silos. So as you might have noticed, there's a range of different people representing so many different perspectives here. People representing workers, employers, foundations, community activists, educators, researchers, startups, venture capitalists. We've got so many different perspectives, and what we try to do over and over again when we help to catalyze so much of the activity that we hope will come together, we view this as helping people to get out of their lanes. You know, you can go to lots of different conferences in your own industry, hearing a lot of the same issues, but here you're going to literally see the head of diversity and inclusion for a major corporation sitting next to a parent and community activist, and that's our commitment. Second is we are committed, and with our partner Ford Foundation, we've been talking for quite some time about uncomfortable conversations. That is, one of the things that is a challenge sometimes in moving the needle is the same issues tend to sort of sit there. Not that this would ever happen in, for instance, your own family dynamics. There wouldn't be any elephants in the room that maybe you would just sort of ignore. But it turns out this is true over and over again when we're trying to catalyze meaningful change. And so we're committed to having those conversations. Why is it that these dynamics are not changing? And how can we build win-win solutions? But it's absolutely critical that we conduct those with care. So like this, and not like this. Not megaphones, but conversations. And then finally, we're committed to inclusion in all its forms. The reason that we've invited people from so many different perspectives, so many parts of the country, so many parts of the world, is that we believe that it's important to not just have the people that speak for others, but to have those people in the room as well. So fans of Dr. Seuss, the Lorax speaks for the trees. And what you find in so many events like this is there's people that speak for the trees. Where are the trees? Where are the workers? Where are the people that are actually experiencing these issues? Well, you've got parents in this room. You've got community activists. You've got people that are dealing with these issues on the ground. And that's, again, our commitment, is to really make sure that you are getting a chance to meet people you absolutely would never have had a chance to do before. Now, speaking of having every voice heard, I'm going to ask you to take out your digital distraction devices. I wouldn't normally do this. I want to actually test something out about having every voice heard. So we're going to use something called Slido. Just because of an interest of time, we've got so many different people we want you to be able to hear from, but we want to make sure that the voices in the room are continually heard. So if you go to sli.do, just type that in your browser on your phone, and then you give this number, G009, as the code, submit a question. What are the things that we need to be, if you could switch please, what do we need to be talking about here? Throughout the event, what are some of the burning questions that you want to make sure that we cover? So let me see the first brave soul that is able to navigate the interface and see if something pops up. Once again, humankind trying to overcome our technology. All right, well, we'll come back to this in just a second. So why don't you switch back to the slides, please? Yeah, and we'll come back. Oh, yeah, okay, great. All right, so, but we're going to be using this in a variety of the different sessions, but please, to that G009 code, please keep posting to that throughout the event. And you can not just post your own questions, but you can upvote others' questions. So you can amplify their voices. And those are questions that we'll be continually coming back to on the dais. So some of the things that we're going to be talking about over and over again, not exclusively these issues, but recurring. We're all workers. We're all human beings. What are our issues? What are the things that we need to be tracking on in this continual shift that we're going through in this amazing time where we're reinventing the rules of work? What do organizations need? How are they going to have the talent that they need to be able to solve their problems today and tomorrow? How is technology changing so much of the game? Why is it changing it so rapidly and so dramatically? And how can we understand those changes? And then finally, what's critical, whether we're focused on issues on the ground or issues that are macro challenges on a global level, how can we have the kind of systems thinking? How can we understand the systems that we're trying to change? Because that's really what the need is. The deliverable is that we understand the way it works today so that we can change it positively for tomorrow. But how do we create a process by which we can continually make them as inclusive ecosystems as possible? This is a continual challenge that we see in communities all across the world. So I want to start off by encouraging you to continue to submit questions to Slido. I want you to continue to try to meet people here that you have never met before. Help us to understand the issues that you care the most about, and try to be able to continually contribute to the process by which we can build solutions, not just talk about the problems, not just have a warm glow going away at the end of the conference that we had a fun time, an interesting set of discussions, but there isn't any real commitment to action. There aren't any new understandings of the things that we need to do. No, we need to have the process by which we can continually solve these challenges that we all see going forward.